Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button for daily Master Duel content. I try to post at least once a day with whatever content I want to put out, whether that be replays, deck profiles, discussions, anything. For today's video, we're going to be doing some replays for the ZEUS Festival, as you saw in the thumbnail with my Zoodiac deck. We've got a couple cool replays for you. The ZEUS Festival just ended yesterday, and I wanted to play a little bit with the deck before it ended, and I got some pretty cool replays. So I have two for you right now. One just a silly one, and then one was a Zoo Mirror, which was it ended up being pretty fun. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just jump into these replays now. Alright, so hopping into this first game right here, we are going first, and thankfully we are, actually no, sorry, our opponent is going to be going first, and we open pretty good. We have a lot of interruption, and we'll just have to see what our opponent wants to do. So they're going to activate Pot of Duality, getting an Aquarium stage, another Aquarium stage, and a Barrier Statue of the Torrent. They're going to add the Barrier Statue to hand, and then normal summon a copy of the Quactress Guppy. They are playing Aqua. Is it a Quactress or Aqua Actress? You tell me. I'm very confused. But anyway, so they're going to normal summon the Guppy, and then end their turn. They're not able to use the effect because they did activate the Pot of Duality, so they can't special summon for the rest of the turn. So they're just going to set one and then pass it back to us. So we're going to see what we can do. We do have a Zoo name in hand, so we're going to just, and of course we draw the Tenki for turn, which is great. So we activate the effect of the Tenki, adding a Whiptail to hand. We're going to normal summon out this Ram, and then use the Ram to go into a copy of the Tiger Mortar. We're just going to go ahead and just do all of the Zoodiac plays here. I'm going to go into a Hammer Kong, and then after that we're going to go into a Chakanine, I think it is next. Yeah, Chakanine. Then into the Borbo. Borbo is going to, we're actually going to use the Whiptail to attach it as material to the Borbo. A little bit high rolly, so since now we don't have any follow-up for next turn if our board gets, if our board is outed, but just decided to play it a little bit more high roll just because we were playing against the Aqua Actresses. But we're going to attack and then go into a copy of the ZEUS in defense position, but unfortunately our opponent does have the Solemn Judgment, so us playing a little more high roll was definitely punished here. So they're going to activate the Solemn Judgment, just destroying the ZEUS and all of the material that went along with it. So we're just going to end up setting two copies of Infinite Impermanence and a Called by the Grave and passing it back to our opponent. So they're going to draw for turn, and they are going to activate the effect of the Guppy. We are going to chain the Maxi, and we're just going to try to plus as much as we can off of this. So they're going to the Guppy's going to resolve, summoning out the Totera. Activate the effect of the Totera to add a Aquarium card. We're going to activate Infinite Impermanence just to keep them off of as much advantage as possible. And then after this resolves, they are going to normal summon out the copy of the Barrier Statue in their hand, equipping it with the Moon Mirror Shield. They're going to get in for a little bit of damage here, nothing too crazy though, fortunately, so we still have a ton of resources and a ton of cards to work with. So they're going to pass it back to us, and we draw for turn. We get a Book of Moon, which is perfect. Now we can we already had a way to deal with the Barrier Statue with this copy of Infinite Impermanence, but now we can use the Book of Moon to flip the Barrier Statue, thus getting rid of the Moon Mirror Shield. So that is what we end up doing, flipping and destroying. Moon Mirror Shield activates, dealing 500. They put it at the bottom of the deck, and we're going to normal summon this copy of the Thoroughblade into a Tiger Mortar, and we're just going to go into, again, more Zoo plays here. So Tiger Mortar into the Hammer Kong, into a copy of the Chakanine, into a copy of the, actually, sorry, so this is where I start being goofy and not really paying attention to what I'm doing. So I activate the effect of the Chakanine, detaching and then targeting the Whiptail. So if I had Ultra Dust and if I wasn't really bad at wasting my gems and my dust, then I would have a copy of the then I would have the Utopic Future line in here. Unfortunately, I do not. So my logic here is just to get out another monster with attack, so we can go into and just do as much damage as possible. But you'll see how that ended up playing. So we're going to go ahead, and Chakanine is going to go into a Borbo. And then here is where I really just blundered the whole thing. So Borbo, I end up going into a Drill Driver Vespanado. My logic here was like, oh, okay, cool. I can do piercing on this defense position, and because their monsters have such little attack, I can just attack with Whiptail and win. Unfortunately for me, I'm stupid and can't do math, such as most Yu-Gi-Oh players follow suit as well. So I'm not the only one that's done this. So my math is very off here. So I attack and get in for 15 with the Vespanado, and then just attack the Whiptail into the Totara. But this is really funny though, because if I would have just attacked the face-up Guppy, then I would have won, because just math, Yu-Gi-Oh! It was late when I recorded this, as for most of all of my recording that I do. So funny games are bound to happen from time to time. I definitely could have won. It's not a big deal. Throw me a bone or roast me. I don't really care. It's all in good fun here. So we just pass to our opponent. It doesn't really matter. We have lots of interruption with the form of our back row, so they just set one. And pass it back to us. Ultimately, it didn't matter at all. It was just hilarious, and I thought that I'd include this replay in here just, to showcase how dumb I can be at times and, have a good laugh at my expense. So, yeah, so this is the first replay. We'll go ahead and get into the next one, which is in the thumbnail right now. All right, so getting into the thumbnail match, here we go. We open hand traps, lots of staples, and we are going first. And we don't have any zoo names, so unfortunately we're not able to get into our zoo plays. So from here, what we do is we just set 3 and pass. We set the Book of Moons, set the Judgment, or the Impermanence, and set the Called by the Grave. And that's really all we can do. We have an Infinite Impermanence in hand and a Max C. We don't want to set the Impermanence because, of course, if they have a board wipe, then we'll have some sort of follow-up. But we're just going to pass it back to our opponent. They're going to draw for turn. And what do they have in their hand but the Lightning Storm to clear up our entire back row? And like you've seen in the thumbnail, like I said, it is a Zoo Mirror. This game was a lot more interesting than the last one, so thank you for sticking around. We'll go ahead and just get straight into it. So Ram, they're going to go ahead and just do some zoo plays here. They're going to Ram into the Borbo. I should have shotgunned the Max C on the Ram summon, but for whatever reason, it wasn't clicking in my brain that they were going to, summon 50 times. So definitely a little bit of a misplay there. Could have gotten a little bit more advantage off of this Max C, but it's okay. We'll just go for here. So they go ahead and attack with the Borbo. And main phase 2, they will overlay for a copy of the Trident here. So they're going to summon the Trident in defense position, and we get a Gamma Seal. So from here, what we are going to do is we draw and we get a zoo name off the top, which is great. So we're going to activate the Infinite Impermanence on the Trident, which makes it so they don't have the pop on our turn, so we can go ahead and go into our zoo plays unhindered. So what we are going to do now, Whiptail into the Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar into a copy of the Hammer Kong. You know the drill by now. Hammer Kong into a copy of Chakanine. And then Chakanine into a copy of the Borbo. Now, I could have gone into, if I wanted to get, it's debatable on whether or not I could have gone into Trident here before attacking or going into the play that I do after this. But as of right now, we go ahead and attack into the Trident, activating the effect of the Borbo to, or the Borbo with the Whiptail on it to banish the Trident. So that's nice. And then we overlay here into a copy of Zeus. If I wanted to make it a 6 material Zeus, then I could have. Then I could have gone into Trident before this, but my thinking here was that if I don't know what this what this set back row is, or if they have ways to deal with ZEUS, then I don't want to be completely out of resources and not have a win condition going forward. So that was my thinking for why I didn't attach the DIDN, and again, I don't have access to the Utopic Future line, so that's why I didn't do that. But as of right now, we have a 5 material. We activate the effect, and they're going to chain the infinite impermanence. So probably a good idea that I did this now, just to get rid of this next turn, so we wouldn't have to use both of it just to wipe one board. So, all of the materials just to wipe one board. So from here, we're going to pass it back to our opponent. They normal summon the Thoroughblade. Thoroughblade is going to go into a copy of the Borbo, directly into the Borbo, and from here I go ahead and shotgun the ZEUS, just because if they go into their plays now, I'm going to take damage, and then they'll be able to go into their own copy of ZEUS. So we go ahead and activate the effect of our ZEUS, detaching and sending to the graveyard, but they have the Forbidden Droplet, and they send a copy of Bunny Blast from their hand to the graveyard, so we are out of luck when it comes to this now. So they go ahead and attack with the Borbo, and then main phase 2 overlay into their own copy of ZEUS. Or sorry, they go into more plays to give ZEUS more material, and then they end up inevitably overlaying into their copy of ZEUS. So now we're just gonna wait while the 10-minute Zoodiac pile-on happens. So anyway, ZEUS here, and they don't shotgun the ZEUS to get rid of ours, and this ends up being their biggest mistake of the game. So they end up passing to us, and because we have a Gamma Seal in our hand right now, we can just kaiju it. We can just kaiju it before they even get a chance to nuke our field. And because they did that, because they didn't nuke our ZEUS when they had the chance, now we have a big 3,000 ZEUS to use against them. So battle phase, we're just going to go ahead and attack over the Gamma Seal, set the infinite impermanence that we drew for turn, and we are looking pretty good now. They're basically in top deck mode, 2 cards in hand. They're going to activate the Fire Formation Tenki to add a Thoroughblade, and then they're going to normal summon this Thoroughblade and go to activate the effect of the Thoroughblade, pitching the Whiptail to draw a card. And I assume now that their only resource, their only win con from here is in fact the Utopic Future line. So they are going to be going, with that information in mind, they're going to go into a Chakanine, activate the effect of the Chakanine, targeting a rank 4, the Borbo. And because we have the infinite impermanence, we just have the correct answer for their last resource for the game. So this resolves infinite impermanence, is going to negate the effect of the Chakanine, and then after this, they will just see that they have no way of really winning from here, so they will attack into the ZEUS, just trying to get this game over with as quickly as possible now. So what we do now is we can just, with any zoo name that isn't Ram, I think we can take the game, and we draw the Fire Formation Tenki for turn, add a copy of the Thoroughblade, normal summon the Thoroughblade, and we can get in for over lethal and take this game. It was a really fun match, this game. I've had a lot of really good success playing with Zoo for the Exceeds tournament, and I'm really looking forward to the next festival, whether that be the Link, Fusion, or Synchro festival. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. I hope you guys are too. I hope you have been enjoying the replays and the daily Master Duel uploads. If you have and you are new, please hit the subscribe button. Getting on up to 1,000 subscribers, gonna hit that pretty soon, and I would love for you to be along for the ride. So until next time, I have been Spellslinger. Have a great day.